4 Entertainment presents
a White Snoop production.
And welcome back. We have our first division in our preview show. We're doing the Southeast Division, of course, because we want to start off with nobody else but the 2013 repeat NBA champions. We got the Miami Heat. Of course, LeBron James winning his second in a row with the MVP and Finals MVP. And, you know, for the most part, we have pretty much the same squad, minus, of course, Mike Miller got amnestied, you know, due to financial purposes. Got a couple new people, you know. Of course, your favorite, Greg Oden.
Yeah, the mythical Greg Oden.
Greg Oden hasn't played basketball since the Miami Heat got together. LeBron James was still in Cleveland when Greg Oden last played.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, it's hard to get excited about the Greg Oden acquisition until we actually see him play. I know a lot of Miami Heat fans are like, we got Greg Oden. I'm like, he hasn't played. It's almost been 4 years almost.
Just about.
Yeah.
It was early December in 09.
Yeah. So slow down with the Greg Oden hype.
I mean, first we got to see him on the floor.
Yeah.
Second, we got to see him stay on the floor.
Can we see him walk out on the floor?
Yeah. We dunked in preseason.
Oh, wow.
That's got to count for something.
He didn't get hurt?
No. I figured it would have blown out his knee with his long leg.
Poor Greg Oden, man. Mike Miller had to go. Like you said, financial reasons. They basically bring back the same core. I mean, obviously.
Juwan Howard's still on the bench wearing a suit, but now he's officially a coach. He's not a player anymore.
Officially? They finally just put the coach tag on him now. All right, well.
He'll still be sitting at the end of the bench with the suit.
With the suit on? Okay.
They didn't want to see that change.
Obviously, the biggest thing going into Miami is going to be Dwayne Wade's health, I think. I mean, George Karl, I think he said it on, I think he's working for ESPN now. He said he doesn't think Dwayne Wade's an 82, I quote, is not an 82-game player anymore. He said there's a lot of concern there.
Limited minutes.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
Of course, the other interesting is Michael Beasley.
I'm actually excited about this. Long as he keeps his head on straight. I was a Beasley guy when he was back at Kansas State. I actually thought he'd be like a legit star in the NBA. Obviously, it hasn't worked out. But I think he's a guy. He come off the bench, and I mean, you've seen it. He can get 30 any night. I mean, he's just one of those guys. I mean, I know you. I mean, me. He kind of reminds me of like a B+ Melo. The way he plays, it's mostly offense. He rebounds when he wants. He's got the range. He's got decent handle. He'll pass when he'll pass when it's there. But he's a guy. You can run a play for him. He can get a shot, his own shot, 1-on-1, which will obviously take pressure off LeBron, especially Wade, since he's not what he used to be. So I'm really excited about the Beasley acquisition.
Absolutely, and I mean he can still defend and.
Yeah, when he wants to. That's what I mean. When he wants to. There's gonna. Hopefully,
he's got to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, hopefully being with those guys, he'll keep his head on straight, and he'll realize that he's got a chance to do something really good with the Heat.
I mean, obviously, the Miami Heat, you have to consider them the favorites to win it all again. I mean, they're the champs. They got back-to-back, 3 straight trips to the finals. And we have the same core coming back. I mean, of course, nothing's a given. In the NBA, there's a lot of teams that are trying to dethrone them. The East, the top of the East has gotten stronger. The West is, they still got some good teams out there. So, I mean, that's why we play the game. But I'd still tag the Miami Heat team to be, favorites to win the championship yet again.
Yeah, I mean, obviously having the best player helps too. I mean, he's, I think it shows those, like Game 7. I mean, he was unreal. I mean, we watched that game, and I couldn't even believe it. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely my favorites. I at least have them going to the finals. So.
Yeah, I don't think on their worst day they're not going to make the conference finals.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I mean, even if Dwayne Wade gets hurt and everything falls apart, Beasley, acts up and Greg Oden never plays, they're still conference final material.
Yeah. At least.
And of course, I still think even in that case they'd still be considered possible champs.
Yeah. Now, obviously, as we'll talk later on, there's definitely teams that will give them a run for their money, as there was these last couple of years. But yeah, they're definitely the favorites to come out east.
Of course, and here's something we'll definitely talk about throughout the season, so we don't have to talk about it too much here tonight. But I just want to mention, the big three can opt out this summer. So I mean, that's something that's looming. And of course, it's a year away. That's why I don't want to drag on it. I mean, if they do win, we're talking 4 straight trips to the finals, 3-peat. I don't think it is a question. All 3 of them will probably opt out to take smaller deals to keep the team together because, I mean, they're looking to build a dynasty in Miami.
The mastermind, the evil genius, Pat Riley, he's the man behind the scenes working all this stuff. So, he's the one that he put it all forward to get that team together, going back, 2008, 2009 when they had all those bum guys making a lot of money and, the expiring deals. So, he was able to, so I definitely see a scenario where something like that would happen.
And it's nice to see Eric Spoelstra finally getting credit too. I mean, a lot of people forget, just because you have all the talent doesn't mean that you automatically win. You got to coach the talent and put it together.
No, I think they give Spoelstra a hard time. You look at him, he's just, he's just not your typical NBA coach. I mean, he was like the video guy a couple of years ago, and so. But you're right. He's finally starting to get credit.
So moving on. Of course, we could talk about the Heat all day.
Oh yeah.
But we're gonna have to move on to the Atlanta Hawks. They had a couple big moves. Of course, Josh Smith isn't there anymore, and as much as Al Horford was crying for a center so he could play his natural 4 position, he's staying in the 5 because they brought in Paul Millsap. Of course, it's a slight downgrade on the defensive end, but it'd be an upgrade on the offensive end, so it brings a different dynamic. I'm a big fan of Paul Millsap.
No, Paul Millsap's a nice player. Atlanta. I mean, obviously Horford and Millsap are their 2 best players. Then there's your favorite point guard, Jeff Teague, who they retained.
A lot of money.
They overpaid for him, but it happens.
See, the thing is though, is that in the Hawks' defense, I mean, if you didn't pay Jeff Teague, I mean, who were they really going to bring in?
Well, I was going to say, yeah. I mean, and obviously, unfortunately, in the NBA, a lot of the teams they end up bidding against themselves, and that's how you end up overpaying for a lot of these guys. But
they also brought in Elton Brand too.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe play some minutes on the bench.
I mean, I'm sure he's got a little left in the tank. He'll help a little bit. Who knows how much he's gonna be able to play. I mean, he's talking about guys with injuries. He's had a lot of injuries.
Well, luckily he's not gonna have to play a bulk of the minutes. I mean, Paul Millsap and Al Horford are both relatively healthy.
Yeah.
In their career, so we just kind of just be able to come off, kind of help. He could play both the 4 and the 5, which would be nice. We could play next to both. Of course, they also have Kyle Korver coming back. Hopefully Lou Williams will be back from injury. He was always a nice little spark for them off the bench. So, I mean, you're not looking at anything too intriguing with Atlanta. I think they can make the playoffs, possibly low seed. I mean, they're going to be out in the first round when they face one. I mean, when we start talking about the top dogs in the East, none of them are getting bounced in the first round unless they face each other.
Yeah, no.
So Atlanta, I mean, you're looking at, they'd be lucky if they win a game in the playoffs. I think that's about where they're going to stand. I don't know.
Yeah. I actually don't have them in my playoffs. I don't think they're in.
I think they're on the outside looking in.
I think they're on the outside looking in. I mean, obviously, as we'll talk later in the show, there's a lot of teams, and I've told you this a lot. There's a lot of teams that have question marks into whether or not they can get in, just health wise and whatnot. But
I feel like they slide in because the bottom of the East, when you talk that, or I should say the middle part of the East is kind of weak and almost up in the air, and I give them the edge. I mean, we're going to talk about, of course, other teams throughout these shows that are going to be in the mix for those final spots, and I'll discuss my reasons why I didn't take another team. I just feel that they're going to get it. I think they hit the 8th seed. I don't think they go any higher. I don't think they can get to 7 or 6. I think they slip down from where they were last year. I mean, they were.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I can see them maybe stealing the 8th seed, but I just me personally, I don't see it. So we'll see.
Another team that's trying to make the playoffs. I believe it's been 5 years since the last time. We have the Washington Wizards. I do think that they slide in. I mean, they had a really nice stretch towards the end, I mean, we saw John Wall, kind of played the best basketball we've seen since he got drafted. He kind of got drafted and didn't really do a lot until he got hurt, and he came back and he played really nice on the stretch last season. Kind of had those guys falling in the flow. Bradley Beal looked nice. If you guys haven't checked the news, well, by the time this airs, it'll be yesterday, or 2 days ago now. It'll be the Marching Gortat coming to town. I'm a big Gortat fan. So to add him kind of to the mix, along with Nene playing the 4, of course, they're looking at the bottom too. I mean, this is part of the middle of the pack, in the Eastern Conference. I think the Washington Wizards are in. Of course, it's all about health. John Wall has been hurt, so.
The Wizards are one of the teams I have in, and that's why I have Atlanta looking out. But like you said, John Wall, health. But last year John Wall had that stretch where he was playing lights out. A lot of people were starting to use that infamous B word with him because of all the hype he had coming out of college. The B word is bust. Don't get crazy out there. Because he had all that hype coming out of college, and it just hasn't really amounted to anything yet. But if he can play, I mean, he doesn't even have to play as well as he played in that stretch. You know what I'm trying to say. Just be good.
I mean, he
night.
still has to keep growing.
Yeah, he's got to keep growing. I was a fan of Bradley Beal coming out of the draft.
They just drafted Otto Porter, and they have Glenn Rice Jr. now as well.
Yeah. I think Otto Porter he's gonna be a good player. I mean, a lot of people think he could potentially be the best player out of the draft going forward down the road, but time will tell. Glenn Rice Jr. He's got some talent. Played in the D League last year. A lot of people, you follow the D League, you'll know. But even though I heard a joke, they said, I guess he doesn't shoot the ball very well, which is very hard to believe, knowing his father was Glenn Rice. So we'll see. just throw that out there. But
then they have some couple veterans. They have Trevor Reeves, Al Harrington. Of course, those guys aren't going to be playing crazy minutes, but they're nice veteran pieces that are nice to have. For a team that's growing, and then try to break the mold to the playoffs. I have them as, in my own personal prediction, I have them as a 7th seed. I think they'll be right around, because I have them right above the Hawks. And they'll be part of that middle of the pack. I think they could get as high as a 6th seed. I don't think anybody's breaking the top 5, as we'll discuss those 5 teams. I think they can get as high as a 6, but I think the Wizards are pretty much in. I don't see them not making it at all. Like the Hawks, I could see not making. I think the Wizards are in. That's how I see it. I really like them down the stretch.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Wizards are one of those teams, that I have a question mark stamped on their on their squad. Just health and if they can all bring it together. But time will tell, and we'll have to keep an eye. They're one of the teams that I will be watching as the season goes on.
And of course, another big topic is going to be the Andrew Wiggins sweepstakes. We have the lottery coming up next June, and one team that's definitely going to be putting their name in the lottery is the Orlando Magic. They've done a lot of unloading since Dwight Howard. They become so irrelevant that ESPN.com hasn't even updated their roster. I mean, I would say that I like the kid Nikola Vucevic. He's their new center. I mean, obviously he's not Dwight Howard. We're not talking about him as a top center. He's not going to carry them to the finals, like Dwight Howard did. But he's a nice piece. They have a couple young guys there in Aflalo, a couple random talents. But yeah, they're looking to go back into the lottery and hope to get a nice pick. And,
it's tough times in Orlando. It's I think I said it last year on our show. It's going to be tough times down there for. I think I forget who said it. At least 3 to 5 years we're looking at. A complete rebuild.
Until they get the chance to draft another center first overall that leaves.
Yeah. You look at. You look at the transition. You had, like you said, they were a perennial playoff team, conference finals. And that's it. Next thing you know, the coach is gone, the GM's gone, the center's gone, along with all those guys. And now you're
except for Hito Turkoglu.
Oh, yeah.
I believe they're working on a buyout. Last I heard.
Yeah,
I never heard of anything getting finalized.
Yeah.
Jameer Nelson's still in town. Unfortunately for those guys, they're not winning in Orlando right now. So. And
they have a first-year head coach, I believe.
Jacques Vaughn, he was there. He was there last year as well,
Okay,
so
it's
it'd be a second
okay,
season.
Okay.
So, but he is new still. I mean, he's only entering his second season as a head coach. He used to be an assistant over in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Along with Rob Hennigan. Yeah, Hennigan, they're a GM. So in San Antonio
just,
as well.
Be patient, Orlando. It is a big market, so maybe you get a couple of draft picks, maybe you get a free agent or two, and you're right back in it. But
unfortunately, right now, this isn't going to be the happiest place in the world.
Yeah. Okay. So,
and as we're talking about misery, we might as well, for the last time ever, discuss in a preview show the Charlotte Bobcats.
I'll start off and I'll say I don't think, and I think I told you this, I don't think they'll have the worst record in the league next year. I actually think
they have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I'm not saying they're going to be good, but I think
they'll have a losing record.
Yeah, no.
And they'll be in the lottery.
They'll be in the lottery, but they won't be one of those teams that anyone that knows the two of us will know that we have no shortage of Charlotte Bobcat jokes.
Wait, we're not Bobcats fans?
No. Yeah, so you're bringing out Jefferson.
Nice post scorer. I like him.
Yeah. Kemba Walker, he's a year older.
Yeah.
Kid Gilchrist is another year older. And the kid Zeller they drafted.
They're still paying Ben Gordon too.
Yeah, yeah. Is he still on? He's still on the roster.
Yeah, he is.
Nice, nice score off the bench. And the kid Zeller they drafted, I think, is gonna be a lot better than people give credit for. I'm kind of looking forward to kind of watching him play in the league a little bit.
Unfortunately, the only thing the Bobcats have to look forward to is if all the rumors come to fruition and Michael Jordan comes down and plays. Until that happens, I don't even know who's watching Bobcats games. I mean, I find no intrigue in this roster. I mean, I can't say I watch them a lot, to be honest with you. I mean, I try to keep up with everybody, so I do watch them a little bit, but there's not a lot to like on this roster, unfortunately. And for as long as Michael Jordan continues to make the decisions that he's made, from Adam Morrison to Kwame Brown, it's hard to believe that
shout out to Kwame.
He's gonna make a lot of good decisions going forward.
Didn't Adam Morrison retire over the summer? Or was that last year?
Did he?
I think he officially retired from basketball.
He was the last one to know.
I have to search that.
Yeah.
Anyway, back.
He's hanging out with Luke Walton, I guess.
Luke Walton.
So yeah, there's not a lot to talk about with the Charlotte Bobcats, unfortunately. It's just unfortunate that they just seem to show no real promise going forward.
Yeah, I mean, you look at their starting five. There's a lot of young guys there. Like I said, Kemba. He had some games last year. He's a good player. I know you're not a big Kemba fan.
I'm not a big Kemba fan. I mean, he's still a good player.
Gerald Henderson showed some signs. Kid Gilchrist. He had a couple. moments. He's gonna get better. Zeller. Zeller's a rookie.
Fargo Sessions.
And you're gonna get out of Al Jefferson every game.
Haywood and Beyond aren't terrible. I don't know. They'll win some games. They're not going to be the worst team in the NBA. They might not even be the worst team in their division. When you look at the Orlando Magic, who don't look that impressive either, they'll definitely be neck and neck for a worst record in the division at least. I don't think either of them are going to be the worst team in the league.
No.
I think we're going to be discussing those on another show.
The jokes will be flying.
Yeah, there's definitely not parity in this division when you talk about the Miami Heat and the Bobcats in the same show.
No.
But that pretty much covers the Southeast Division, though. So I don't know if you have anything else you want to add about any of these teams before we sign out.
No, just back to the Wizards. Just looking at the bench, a guy like Martell Webster. He's another one. I'm sure when I loved Martell Webster coming out of high school. It's just he had that foot injury and it just seems like he's always been hurt ever since. So yeah, Eric Maynor, solid. Eric Maynor's a solid backup, and I believe they got Kendall Marshall.
Kendall Marshall and Shannon Brown.
And Shannon Brown. So
Shannon Brown, underrated superstar.
Yeah. Could be as good as Dwayne Wade.
That's a shout out to our boy Brian. Hope you're watching, buddy.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, the big question mark stamp on that roster. But that's really all I'm just looking at everybody else. That's about really it.
All right. And congratulations, Juwan Howard, on the promotion to having the same seat.
Rashard Lewis is right behind you.
Oh yeah, we forgot about Rashard. No Rashard Lewis jokes.
Because I haven't seen my brother's boy in a while. That's why.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Rashard Lewis might get minutes this year without Mike Miller, huh?
I don't think so.
Neither do I.
I
They picked up Roger Mason Jr.
Yeah, there you go.
So Rashard Lewis will still just have another bench player who will collect a ring if they win. So, so that's our Southeast. I mean, I think, by the way, just throw it out there real quick. I think we all agree. I think there's nobody in the world that would disagree with the Miami Heat are going to win the division.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Just figured we'd throw that out there while we're here talking about it. So that's the Southeast Division. White Snoop T-Rose signing out. Make sure you come back tomorrow and every day till Sunday as we go over each division and preview for the upcoming season. Good night.
Check our videos at youtube.com/WhiteSnoop44. Email us at WhiteSnoopProductions@gmail.com. Become a fan at Facebook.com/WhiteSnoop244. Or follow us on Twitter.com/44entertainment.
This is Ben, the White Snoop.